birthday, Harry dear. Now finish your butterbeer.
I say the prancing pony's gone downhill.
Can I help you, sir?
I doubt it. I'm looking for a very short person who lives with his uncle and carries a great burden. A lord who once had extreme power but lost it all.
And currently resides in spirit form until it can be brought back?
It's you!
Okay, hello. We are on the set of Legend of the Seeker, and if you'd like to come this way.
Stay back!
Shoot her.
Leave her alone!
You're making a mistake, boy. This girl is dangerous.
4 men against 1 woman. I think she's the one in danger.
Legend of the Seeker was an American TV show created by Sam Raimi, and it ran for 2 seasons between 2008 and 2010. The TV series itself was based on a book called The Sword of Truth by Terry Goodkind, in which we follow the Seeker of Truth, Richard Cypher, along with a Confessor named Kahlan, a wizard called Zeddicus, and by golly she's hot, Mord-Sith called Cara. Ooh, I think she heard me. Good. Anyway, this looks like a great series, but I never saw it. But my next guest did. If you've ever been to a UK Comic Con, you'll no doubt ran into this girl before. She's been doing cosplay now for nearly 20 years, and now even gets invited to cons around the world. It's my good friend, Sam. Hiya, Sam.
Hi, Dave.
How you doing?
I'm alright, thank you. How are you?
It's been a while. I mean, the last time I've seen you, well, every time I've seen you, it's been at a Comic Con. So it's actually great to see you in like normal clothes for once.
Oh, I know. Like, I'm never in normal clothing. Like every time you see me, I'm in a different costume. I mean, everyone forgets I actually wear glasses as well, which is always funny.
Yeah, well, that's it. When you pinged up, who's that? Oh yeah. So now you've picked today's topic, which is Legends of the Seeker. Now I've never heard of it, but I know I've had a quick research. Went Sam Raimi. Oh right, so it's off the back of Hercules and Xena, and I know Lucy Lawless are behind the scenes of this is a new production of Sam Raimi. After that, so I believe it got cancelled. I mean, is it what, 2 seasons, 3 seasons?
It did 2 seasons. It was 44 episodes, and it got cancelled because the production company went bankrupt.
Oh, that's not good. But even Sam Raimi was involved and he couldn't serve it. That's a bit of a shock.
They did try, and I mean, after it was cancelled, because it was cancelled in about, I think it was like 2010, a lot of fans of the show did the hashtag #SaveOurSeeker, and it continued for ages. They were trying to do like fundraisers for it, and you know, just trying to get another company to pick it up, and nobody would pick it up. And it was so sad because the end of season 2 was such a cliffhanger. Like, there was so much they could have done with the show, and then the production company was like, yeah, sorry, we got no money, so we're gonna cancel it. Yeah. Well,
I mean, I know what you like, but obviously the viewers don't. But how did you come across this Legends of the Seeker? Was it advertised? Did it just pop up one night and you were having a brew? And
I'm trying to think. I think I was the Showmasters events. I think I just happened to be on their forum. Like, people don't use their forum as much anymore, but it used to be like, you know, back in sort of like 2010. It was before then. It was like a big thing, and everyone used it. And in like, I think the general chat, someone was like, I'm looking for like a TV show that's, you know, a little bit like Lord of the Rings and Xena and whatever. And someone had just written like, hey, what about Legends of the Seeker? And I was like, oh, what's this? And they put like a little picture up from it, and I was like, oh, this looks good. And it hadn't actually started at that point when I found it on there. So I was like, oh, okay, I need to watch this. This looks good. This is my kind of thing. And then when it started, I just started watching the episodes every week, and I just fell in love. It was it was kind of like someone described it as it's Lord of the Rings meets Xena. So as a huge fan of both of those things, I was like, okay, I'm in. Sign me up.
Any particular character you were fond of?
Okay, so when the show first started, I fell in love with a character called Kahlan Amnell, played by Bridget Regan. Bridget Regan is also in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., sorry, Agent Carter. She played Dottie, but I loved her character. She played the Mother Confessor, and basically, I think exactly what it was is the Mother Confessor would like put their hand on you and make you tell the truth. Even if you didn't want to, it can make you tell the truth. And she was like the one in charge of all of the confessors, and there weren't many left. And she was amazing, and she was kick-ass, and she had these beautiful costumes. And I loved her all the way through season 1. And then partway through season 1, we met these characters called the Mord-Sith. And these are these stunningly beautiful women, all with the hair very tied up and then in a very long plait that comes down. And they are literally head to toe leather. And it's oxblood leather, which is like a very dark red and has bits of black in it. And it's like armored. They have like a neck piece, and then they have like this corseted piece. And they have these weapons called agiles. You have to Google agiles at some point because they're kind of like batons, but they're red. And when they touch people with them, they basically electrocute them. They kind of vibrate. So obviously it's an interesting weapon to have. But they brought a character in literally on the last episode of season 1 called Cara. And she was one of the Mord-Sith. And she's a bad guy to start with, but she's kind of... You know how like in Xena in her past was the bad guy and she sort of redeemed herself? That's who Cara became. She was like the Xena of this show. And I fell in love with her. Like, she was... I loved Kahlan, but when Cara came in, it was like, move over, Kahlan. I'm done with you. I'm good with Cara now. And like she took some of the armor off so she didn't look as much like a Mord-Sith. She took her hair down so she had short blonde hair, and she would sort of wear the leather undersuit still, but sort of like partially undone, so you could tell she wasn't a Mord-Sith per se anymore. And she actually becomes a really good character, and I loved her, and I loved like her character arc from this horrible bad guy basically to this actually really nice person, and like, you know, she saves them a lot of times, and she was great. I loved her. She was definitely my favorite by the end of season 2.
Well, you kind of told me you've gone on about Lord of the Rings and Xena, and then you mentioned Beautiful Women 11. I went, I'm watching this. It's definitely worth the viewers hunting down then to watch.
Oh god, yeah. If you like Lord of the Rings, if you like Hercules, if you like Xena, any of the things like that, then definitely go find it and watch it. Just be prepared that you're going to have a cliffhanger ending in season 2, and then they cancelled it.
I'm going to look into that. Oh, thank you so much for this the suggestion. We'll look into that. And it's great seeing you again.
And you.
Yeah, and have you... Now, obviously, things are up in the air at the minute, but do you plan to go to any Comic-Cons towards the end of the year? Or are you saving it for next year? What's the deal?
I actually have 3 booked. One of them is Wales Comic-Con, but that's because I actually had the ticket before the pandemic. And obviously, they just keep postponing it.
Yeah.
I got tickets for Liverpool Comic Con. I actually did that. Funnily enough, last year I did it, you know, just before things like lockdown hit here. It was literally like 2 weeks before lockdown. And, you know, people were a little bit, should we, shouldn't we? And I went to it and I made sure I did everything, you know, hand sanitizing, things like that. You know, touching doors, making sure I redid my hands again. And I actually really enjoyed it. It was one that I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy, because I'd been to one of their offset like conventions previously, and I didn't really have a good time. But then that was more of a one specific genre. It was I believe it was sci-fi. So, I mean, I love sci-fi. You probably know that. I love sci-fi. But
I got the in.
I didn't quite get on with that convention. Plus, it wasn't in the best location. But yeah, they moved to Liverpool and they did this big Comic-Con, and I went and I got to meet Tank Girl Laurie Petty, and she was amazing.
I did a thing the other week. I never watched it before. I did a watch Tank Girl thing. Somebody suggested it. I went, I'll watch it. It was all right.
Okay, so I loved Tank Girl since I was younger. Like, I always wanted to, like, shave my hair like hers and, have, like, the little plaits and whatnot. I always wanted to do that, and my mom was always like, no, you're not shaving your head, don't even think about it. And I was like, but her hair is so cool. I've done overseas conventions before. I did one in Italy a couple of years ago in Milan. That was really hard, though, because I literally didn't speak a single word of Italian.
Oh no!
I
have a picture with you in Italian, like what?
luckily, all of the guests were American or British, so that was great. But when you're like in the line and you're like, "Excuse me, how long will it take for how long is the queue going to be? When you're going to cut it off?" And like the staff members are looking at you like, "Sorry." I mean, the thing is, a lot of them were dual language, like they knew, say, Italian and French or Italian and English, but not everybody knew English. So I actually met a really cute girl there. She's called Irina. She was Italian and she actually spoke English. So she was actually in the line in front of me. She's only about 15, lovely girl, and she translated everything for me. And then if I had any questions, I would ask her them in English, and she would ask the staff member in Italian, and then get the answer and give it back. And I still talk to her now. This was a couple of years ago, and I'm still talking to her now. And she'll Instagram me sometimes. She'll be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And we just have like a little conversation. And yeah, but luckily, French convention, I did a GCSE in French, so hopefully I will be able to ask questions. I mean, at least I can ask where the bathroom is. So that's a bonus.
Well, every success to you in the coming conventions, and you get to them and get abroad. But yeah, it's brilliant seeing you again, Sam. Stay safe, will you? And catch you soon, hopefully.
You will.
These are our builders and our department. And...
Don't disrupt them in their natural habitat.
They're feeding right now.
Write the theme tune, sing the theme tune.
A cheat this one, and we'll have to end on the montage of the actual series. At least Sam Raimi used the same composer he used for the Evil Dead trilogy, so that's a bonus. A big thank you again to Sam for helping me on this week's Memory Bubble. More bubbles coming soon. Till next time, take care.